One of the things that influence my political choice is like my parents and what they say about politicians and their feelings about politicians. So, and then that influences me because I get both sides of, say, what the media is saying or what the politicians are saying, and then a contrasting view from my parents. But because they're around me all the time, like just when I'm not at school, then they have a great influence on my political views and choices.
Yeah, and I think that with the age of technology that we're living in, the media is becoming such an important part of our political views and how we shape what we see in politics. And things like social media, like Facebook and Instagram, they're just they're growing like majorly, and it's just something that's going to influence us throughout our lives.
I think that could be controversial though, because social media is so, you don't know what's real and what's not real. So there could be posting like photos and like issues that aren't real just to get people the votes, even if it's like, so people don't know whether it's real or not.
The opinion has more impact on our decisions than the actual facts do, and I think that's a problem and we've kind of got to go back to reality instead of just saying, oh yeah, they said this.
And it seems as though like the news is making the opinions bigger than the facts. Like you listen to anything nowadays and it seems as though it's leaning one way more than the other. And I think if we were able to reshape the way that we perceive opinions and we perceive the truth, it would make the whole voting process so much easier and so much more reliable.
I think another very strong opinion, definitely in my life, on what I think about political leaders is my friends, which also kind of links back to my family because I go to school with my friends and I spend like 8 hours a day with my friends every day. It is inevitable that we talk about stuff involving politics and which person we think should be leading our country. And I feel like that's really shaped my views on what my friends think. So if they all think something, then over time it helps me see different perspectives on, say, if I was leaning towards one person, but they show me their own opinion or some facts that they've found, it definitely influences what I think. A lot of people regurgitate what their parents think. So it's kind of rare that a child disagrees with what their parents are leaning towards because you're brought up with like a set of morals and things that your parents influence you with from birth, and generally they're going to try and vote for a political leader which lines up with what they think. So you'll end up finding that what you've brought up to think can line up with the political leader that your parents are voting for. So when you are talking to your friends, a lot of it is opinion based and what their parents think really.
And it's getting, as more and more like blogs, news feeds come up, it's getting harder and harder to distinguish between facts and opinions. So in the end, all the reliable sources will get washed away by all the blogs, people's opinions. There's so many perspectives that it's like just a whole new discussion on what the right perspective is, you know, just what's a fact, what's an opinion, what's right to think.
I get it if we're doing it for an assignment or an assessment, and yeah, it's fine if you use the internet as long as you use a reliable source, but when it comes to a political standpoint or what you're going to say in public to people and you've based it on whatever you found on the internet, because we're talking about what influences our political views, is internet a positive thing to be one of them? Should we consciously try and make an effort not to let it influence us and actually use reliable sources if we're going to use the internet at all?
Yeah, personally I'm like totally open to the idea of diversity. I love having different cultures and religions and different, you know, foods, whatever diversity means in my life, and I think that it's better to have these different cultures and all these different things because it makes your kind of world more different. Open, more
just
more
opens
unique.
up all those doors and you just become so much more open-minded about the world.
Exactly.
You know?
And you see things in a different way.
Yeah, I feel like if you're surrounded by people there's a broader diversity of personalities that you're around, I guess it's gonna, either you kind of learn from those people and you start, I guess, thinking about them more, but also you kind of, I don't know, I guess it does shape your identity.
Yeah, and it might inspire you to become like different like them.
Yeah.
Branch out a bit.
Yeah, diversity encourages you to have new ways of thinking, different opinions on things, different lifestyles and everything.
Our life experiences, in many ways, define or can define who we become as a person. Recently, many students got back from Nepal, and for me, it may not have been extremely life-changing in the moment, but as time passes after that experience, we grow in a way as a person that we wouldn't have grown in a way if we hadn't have had that experience.
Yeah.
And someone I know made a very good point of saying that well, in life, when you're faced with a choice, you can be faced with experiences in your life that will change how you react to those decisions, and therefore change how you live your life in many ways.